We weren't supposed to go that far. It started as a weekend dive. Me, my friend Jay, and his cousin Morgan. We were all cave diving enthusiasts, the kind of weirdos who find peace squeezing through underwater rock systems in total darkness. The cave system was in New Mexico, mapped mostly by local explorers and amateur surveyors, but full of gaps, uncertainties, legends. Jay heard about a submerged tunnel deep in the Apache Rift Caves. Not on the official maps. He called it the Widow's Vein. We thought it was just local lore, but we brought extra gear just in case. It took us an hour of diving just to get to the chamber where Jay thought the tunnel might be. We were fully suited, twin tanks, lights mounted on our masks, comms in our ears. The water was freezing, crystal clear, but so still it felt like we were swimming through air. When we reached the far side of the chamber, Morgan spotted it first, a narrow slit in the rock wall. Not man-made, not natural-looking either. It was just wrong, uncomfortably smooth, and the edges looked almost melted. Jay was ecstatic. He clipped a marker line to the wall, signaled for us to follow, and slipped inside. The tunnel was tight, one at a time tight. We moved slow, fins brushing against jagged limestone. Our lights barely reached a few feet ahead. The deeper we went, the more the water changed. The temperature dropped. Our comms started picking up static. At one point, Jay's voice crackled in. "You guys hear that?" We stopped. Nothing. Then behind us, in the static of our comms, a soft, rhythmic sound. Breathing. But it wasn't ours. We kept moving. Because what else do you do when you're already 100 feet underwater in a stone coffin? But Jay was too far ahead. Morgan was slowing down. I could see his hands trembling. He typed something on his slate. "Feel sick. Pressure weird." That's when the line went slack. Our safety line. I reeled it in, but it had been cut. Clean. Like someone took scissors to it. Lights flickered. Then, in the periphery of my mask, I saw it. A figure. A human shape. Not swimming. Floating. But its limbs were wrong. I grabbed Morgan. He was barely responsive. We kicked back the way we came. Hard. I had no clue if we were going the right way. My head felt like it was being squeezed. The pressure was all wrong. That breathing, it got louder, more urgent, like something was following. Just before we hit the main chamber, Morgan got pulled back. I turned, grabbing his arm. Something yanked him hard. There was nothing there. Nothing I could see, but his eyes were wide. His regulator fell out, and he started convulsing. I shoved mine in his mouth, got him stable, and dragged him out. We surfaced. Hours later, rescue divers went in. They found Jay, but he was already unconscious. Thank God for the immediate and early medical attention given to him. It had been 1 month now. We still can't figure out what really that day. But another weird adventure? Yes, we are planning on another one, perhaps in few weeks to come. Me, my older brother Luke, and our buddy Marcus. We weren't professionals, not by any means, but we'd been cave diving for a few years. Started small, springs, cenotes, old quarries, then gradually got deeper, darker, riskier. We got obsessed with the idea of exploring unmapped tunnels, finding places no one else had seen before. This trip, it was supposed to be our biggest yet. We drove 8 hours into the middle of nowhere in Arkansas. Following a mix of online rumors and hand-sketched maps Luke found on a weird old spelunking forum. There was supposed to be a system of caverns beneath a dry cave near the Ouachita Mountains, mostly collapsed and undocumented. Perfect for idiots like us. It took half a day just to reach the entrance. We had to rappel into a sinkhole, cross a field of jagged boulders, then squeeze through a narrow slit in the rock that led to the main chamber. From there, we geared up. Wetsuits, tanks, lights, backup lights, reels, markers. The water was freezing. So dark and still, it felt like we were swimming through ink. But we made good time. Passed through 3 known chambers. Those were in the old maps Luke found. Then we reached a dead end, a rock wall with no exit, except Marcus saw it first, a small gap near the floor. just wide enough to shimmy through if we ditched our tanks. It was tight, claustrophobic. One of those tunnels where you can't move your arms and have to rely on a slight push of the legs to keep going. But after 5 excruciating minutes, the tunnel opened up. We surfaced into a new cavern, and immediately we knew something wasn't right. The first thing that hit us was the smell. Rot, like spoiled meat baking in the sun. Thick, wet, sour. Marcus gagged. Luke tried to play it off, but I could see the tension in his jaw. Our lights barely cut through the blackness. The cavern was massive, way bigger than any of the others. The walls were covered in some kind of black fungus, like soot that shimmered when we moved. We climbed out onto a narrow ledge and started looking around. That's when Marcus stopped cold. Yo, what the hell is that? Hanging from the ceiling, rusted chains, hundreds of them, all anchored into the rock, some long enough to reach the water. A few had hooks at the ends, a few had bones. There were no carvings, no gear, no trash, nothing to suggest people had been here recently. But the chains weren't ancient. Some were rusted, sure, but others looked newer, like they'd been replaced. As we pushed further into the cavern, we found more signs. Scratches along the stone floor, claw marks maybe, or fingernails, empty buckets stacked in the corner, an old helmet, one of those industrial types, yellow and cracked. And then we heard it, breathing, slow, wet, labored. At first, I thought it was just one of us, maybe Marcus struggling with nerves. But then it got louder, closer. Luke spun his light toward the far corner of the cavern. Nothing. Then we saw the ripple. The water near the ledge was moving. Something was rising. I don't know what it was. I don't even have the words. The shape was massive, all limbs and sinew, slick and pale like flesh stretched too thin. Its face was wrong, just wrong. Too many eyes, no mouth, just holes. We ran. We dove back into the tunnel without thinking. Luke went first, then me. I looked back for Marcus. He wasn't behind us. I yelled, no answer, just a splash. Then, chains rattling. I started back in, but Luke grabbed me, shook his head. He's coming. He'll make it. We barely made it through the tunnel, came out the other end gasping, shivering, crying. We waited. 10 minutes, 20, an hour. Finally, Marcus surfaced. He didn't say a word, just pulled himself out of the water and collapsed. His suit was torn in places, his tank gone, eyes wide and shaking. We helped him out, packed up and got the hell out of there. We reported it, of course, but no one believed us. Not about the cavern, not about the thing. And when we went back with authorities, the wall was sealed, solid stone, no tunnel, no way in.